Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Listen, lifting heavy is really important for you. It builds strength and it builds muscle. However, using body weight exercises can also be useful. For example, if you are just starting your strength training journey, using body weight exercises can help you become accustomed to exercises until you really become comfortable with them. Also, you might use body weight exercises if you're recovering from an injury. It's a great way to ease back into your routine. So with that said, in this video, I'm going to show you 6 different body weight exercises that are perfect for women over 50, regardless of where you are in your fitness journey. Are you ready? Let's get started. All right, the first exercise is the body squat. Now, you may have seen me do this before in some of my other videos, and there's an excellent reason why. Because the body squat is a great exercise to really build your lower body strength. And it resembles so many moves that you do throughout the day. For example, getting up and going down into a chair. So for the body squat, what you're going to do is you're going to place your feet about shoulder width apart. Once you place your feet about shoulder width apart, it is perfectly okay if you want to angle your feet out a bit. And then what you're going to do is lower yourself towards the floor. So it's going to look like this. And whatever you want to do with your arms, whatever is comfortable, I typically hold my hands in front of me or either together, clasped, or either apart like this. And what you're going to do is lower your bottom towards the floor and come back up. It's just as if you were sitting down in a chair or maybe even sitting down on the toilet. So this is the body squat. And this is the first exercise we're going to do. What I'd like to remind you about the body squat is when you do this exercise, make sure that you are keeping your heels on the floor. They should not raise up when you go into that squat, and you're lowering your bottom towards the floor. Also, you do not have to try to touch your bottom to the floor. You don't have to try to go past parallel. Go to the depth that is comfortable for you. And then as you get stronger, you might be able to go deeper into your squat. So again, the first exercise is the body squat, and it's going to look like this. Okay? All right, let's move on to the second exercise. Our second exercise is going to be the elevated push-up. And because I am showing you exercises that you can use in a full body routine, I will be alternating the exercises from lower body to upper body. So the squat worked our lower body. Now we're going to look at the elevated push-up, which works our upper body. It's really important for women over 50 to build their upper body strength because we do tend to be weaker in our upper bodies than we are in our lower bodies. So for the elevated push-up, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your kitchen sink or maybe your bathroom sink or maybe the dresser in your bedroom. You need something sturdy and immobile that you can push up against. For me, I'm going to use my rack right here. So just imagine that this is your kitchen sink. So what you want to do is you want to take your hands and you want to place your hands on that countertop in your kitchen sink or your bathroom, whichever, and you want to extend your legs behind you. Then you're going to use this just as you would be doing a push-up on the floor. You're going to bend your elbows and lower your upper body towards the sink or the cabinet and press away. This is the elevated push-up. A couple of things I want you to remember when you're doing the elevated push-up. First, the higher the elevation, the easier the push-up. The lower the elevation, the more difficult the push-up. So make that adjustment so that you can ensure that you can get about 6, 8, maybe 10 elevated push-ups, okay? The other thing I want you to do is think about your body in a nice, strong plank. And I want to show that to you right now. If you look at me right now, I'm in a nice, strong plank, right? My head, my neck, my back, all the way down to my feet. When you do an elevated push-up, you're going to lower that plank all at the same time. Notice how everything is in a straight line. You don't have your hips up here, nor are your hips dipping, but everything's in a straight line. Also, keeping your shoulders down out of your ears. Those are some things that you want to think about as you do your elevated push-up. One, that's proper form. And two, it keeps you in that correct position to ensure that you're doing it correctly without any injuries. So that is the elevated push-up. That is for our upper body. And now we're going to move to our third exercise, which will be for our lower body. All right, for exercise number 3, we're back to the lower body. Now this exercise has a fancy name. This is called the single leg Romanian deadlift. I love this exercise because it actually strengthens one side of your body at a time. And it might also be a challenge for your balance as well as your strength. So let me show you how you can do this exercise, and then I'll give you another cue as to what you can do to maybe make it a bit more accessible to you. All right, let me come up front a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I am going to start by standing on both legs. But what I'm going to do is I need to hinge at the waist. And what that means is you're actually throwing your hips behind you as if you wanted to touch the wall behind you, okay? So I'm going to hinge at the waist. As I do that, I'm going to put all of my weight on one foot, and I'm going to raise the leg and raise it behind me as my head and my torso becomes almost parallel to the floor. This leg is doing all of the work. And then I come up. That was one repetition of that exercise. You stay on that leg and you do it again. So you can see how this would test both your balance and your strength. The leg that you're working is going to really feel tired after a while. Why? Because it's holding and balancing all of your weight on one side. Okay? So that's called the single leg Romanian deadlift. And again, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So from the front, it would look something like this. If I want to work the other leg, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hinge at the waist. I'm going to put all my weight on one side, and the leg goes behind me as I keep all my weight on this side, and then I come back up and I do it again, okay? Now, if that is tough on the balance, which when you first do it, it may be pretty difficult, you can always put a chair in front of you and you can hold on to the upright, to the tall back of the chair as you go over. If you have a tall exercise stick, you can always use the stick and use that for balance. Also, you can go stand by a wall and you can just simply lightly tap your hand on the wall as you go over to do that Bulgarian split squat. And so whatever you do to one side, just remember you have to do to the other side. That is a great lower body exercise. Give that a try. Let me know how it goes. And now we're going to move on to our next exercise. All right, for exercise 4, we're going to be on the floor. Actually, for exercises 4, 5, and 6, we're going to be on the floor. So this next exercise is called Superman. Sometimes I like to call it Superwoman, but needless to say, this exercise strengthens your lower back as well as your core. So what you're going to do is you have to get on the floor, and then you're going to lay face down on your floor. Then what you're going to do is you're going to stretch out as if you were flying like Superman. So you're going to look just like this. And what you're going to do is be very gentle with your back as you do this. And you're going to try to raise your arms and your legs at the same time. It's okay if you can only raise them a little bit from the floor. This is a challenging exercise, but it's great for, again, your core as well as your lower back. So, with that said, we're going to lay on the floor. We're going to stretch out and you're going to pull up like this. This is it. Then you're going to rest. And then when you're ready to start again, you're going to pull back up like this. Notice that my hands and my feet are off the ground. And that is called the Superman or the Superwoman. And again, you may feel it in your lower back, but actually, you may also feel it in your upper back and your shoulders as well. So, that exercise might be considered a full body exercise. However, again, it targets your back and your core. Now we're going to move on to exercise number 5. Exercise number 5, still on the floor. We're going to do glute bridges. Glute bridges are great for your glutes, your derriere. So what you're going to do is sit down on the floor, and then you're going to go back, lay on your back, and your knees are going to be in the air. Take your hands and see if you can touch the tip of your fingers to the heels of your tennis shoes or your feet. Okay, that would be a pretty good distance as to where you might want your feet compared to your hands. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your lower back is really close to the floor, right? You don't want to arch. You want to bring that lower back close to the floor so that it's touching the floor. Then what you're going to do is with your lower back on the floor, you're going to squeeze your glutes and you're going to raise your hips into the air. And now you're squeezing your glute muscles. And then what you're going to do is you're going to lower your glutes back down. And again, keeping that back on the floor, your lower back touching the floor, you're going to, again, raise those glutes up. So when you're raising them up, think of a couple of things. Think of squeezing your glutes, think of pressing through your heels, and think of going high up on your shoulders, okay? And you're squeezing your glutes and returning to the floor. Lower back on the floor, raise up, squeeze your glutes, press through your heels, roll up on your shoulders, squeeze your glutes. And that is your glute bridge, which means we only have one more exercise left. Exercise number 6 is the low plank hold. The low plank hold is a great exercise for your core. And so we actually talked about the plank when we were working with our elevated push-ups. This time we're going to take the plank to the floor. And in the low plank hold, you're going to get on your forearms and you're going to extend your legs behind you. And this is the position for your low plank hold. When you're in this position, you want to make sure, again, of a couple of things: that your head, neck, and shoulders and back are aligned, that your hips aren't up here, that your hips aren't dipping down, but that you're in a straight plank. And then you're going to hold this for as long as you can hold it. My recommendation is to try to hold your low plank for anywhere from 10 seconds to 30 seconds. And if you can do 3 or 4 sets, of that low plank hold for 10 seconds, that's a great place to begin. You're going to really feel your core working hard to keep your body stable. The moment your hips begin to dip, that's when it's time to stop holding that plank, to rest. Once you're rested, then you can go ahead and do another low plank hold. All right, everyone, there you have it. 6 body weight exercises that you can do for a full, comprehensive, full body workout. Make sure you do these body weight exercises anytime you may not have the equipment that you would typically use, or you can use this workout if you're just starting your strength training journey. So make sure, do me a favor before you leave, like this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This channel is all about being strong women after 50. I'll see you next time.